Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, whatever time it is that you inky savages are joining us for episode number 153 of the PenBoyRoy Pentertainment Podcast. We are happy to be here. Tom's a little caught off guard because I accidentally started recording mid-conversation while we were discussing something. So I noticed the countdown was happening, so I just had to...
I was reading something, and it was blocking your side of the screen, so all of a sudden you were like, good afternoon, good evening. I'm like, wait, what's going on? Okay.
Whoa. Do that one more time.
Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening.
Oh, okay. I was about to say, like, you can't...
I jumped to the afternoon. I don't know. It's already evening to me, so it's over.
Okay.
Day's over.
So, to answer your question, Thomas William Allen...
See,
I don't know why I just call you Thomas William Allen.
You just keep adding middle names. That's my
Thomas William
name.
Allen Odo. Okay, so to answer your question, yes, we're gonna talk about this new pen that Endless has come up with. Okay. Mm-hmm. Now, I think it's really cool. Really fantastically cool. I mean, Bryce is all excited. I want to plug it because that's what he's paying us to do, but we will talk about it when we get into the episode, okay? Mm-hmm. All right, so I'm going to keep the sponsorships brief this time. Check out Gold Spot Pens. The affiliate link that helps us out is in the description below. Click on that and make sure to use coupon code. What are we using this week?
Ooh, we could switch up to a new one this week because I have in my notes we should do that.
But we haven't decided on anything. So here's what we're going to...
We didn't decide on this beforehand, no.
Yeah. Coupon code ODDO. O-D-D-O. O-double-D-O. Coupon code ODDO for an extra discount. Yeah. Coupon code ODDO. Using the affiliate link in the description below. Use that coupon code. Get an extra savings on all things on the Gold Spot website. You know, if you go to goldspotpens.com or goldspot.com, it brings you back to the same thing. I don't know who the wizards were behind that, but that's just awesome.
It's not really wizardry. It's just, the internet stuff.
Right. You could go to goldspot.com, goldspotpens.com, and be a dork. Or you can be cool and use the affiliate link in the description below and go to Goldspot that way. And make sure you use coupon code ODDO, O-D-D-O, at checkout for an additional savings on all products with some exclusion when supplying on the Goldspot website. Now, here's what I want to talk about, which I'm really excited about. So I kind of just breezed through a little bit of the Gold Spot read. But I love the confusion. Like, Bryce is just nothing if not confusing because he has a read for us for February 6th, the week of February 6th, which is this week. Right. But then the next week's read says February 8th, read previous week. Previous week,
yeah.
Right, but that's only 2 days from now. So does he want us to repeat the previous week as in the one we're about to read now or the preppy one we did last week? I'm confused.
No, I think we have to do this week twice, but
okay.
Week.
let's do it the first time, okay?
Yes.
I love Bryce cuz he's a mess in a good way. I can't wait to hang out. What was it? The 22nd, Wednesday the 22nd, yes. We're going to shoot some stuff. All right. So, Endless, known around the world for its ink-loving notebooks, is now much more than a stationery company and has achieved something that very few have been able to do. A sleek and elegant-looking retractable fountain pen. And not to mention at an incredible price. Endless is proud to bring you the Creator. So the pen is called the Creator. The Creator is
too highly of itself, right?
What's that?
It doesn't think too highly of itself, calling itself the Creator.
The Creator. We got to talk about that name. So got to make fun of it. All right, let me keep reading this because that's what we're getting paid to do. The Creator is made of high-grade ABS plastic. This pen will be able to handle all of your life's adventures. Available only in fine nibs for now. More nib sizes will be released in the future. This is sure to be one of the biggest launches of any pen in 2023, so be sure not to miss out and pre-order now. I don't know who you can pre-order with. I don't know if pre-orders is Gold Spot's things. I'm not sure, but let me.
I don't know. I don't even know if others are taking pre-orders right now, but I know that they were asking for the retailers to put in their orders for them, and Gold Spot being one of the retailers, will definitely have these on hand when they come in. But being that this is Endless's first which we'll get into more after the sponsorship, but this is like their first pen that they've ever made. So, and this is rather revolutionary, I would say, in that it's probably a very inexpensive retractable fountain pen, which is not very common. So, I wouldn't necessarily say like, okay, it's definitely going to come on this date, because I mean, they haven't delivered a fountain pen before. So, and whether or not, but we'll get into it more.
I mean, were their notebooks ever late?
Not really, but I mean,
all right. So
yeah.
let me finish the read. All right, before we start bashing it, because we're going to, because
not
that's
bashing
what
it. We're just
we're gonna take its head and smash it into the.
We're gonna set your bar real low,
right? No, but listen, can we be? We're being paid to talk about this. Can I finish the nice things before we go and start bashing it? All right. Highlights: the body is made of high-grade ABS plastic. So if you don't know what that is, that's basically your Legos plastic.
Lamy Safari.
Lamy Safaris are made of Legos. So that's pretty much what ABS plastic is. The nib unit is held inside the barrel using an elegant sealing mechanism.
Oh, so elegant.
Yeah. Comes with a cartridge and converter. Pen operates with a click. Now, here's the best part, and here's the part that really I like about it. I'm really excited about it. The price. $50 US MSRP. That's kind of cool. Because right now, the cheapest one there is out there is the Platinum Curidas Great Pen. It's a clear colored pen. It's cool. I liked it. I lost mine. I got to get another one. But I'm looking forward to this Endless Creator. I wish they said in the read when it's coming out. Right? How awesome would that have been?
I could look it up. Let me look it up. But you can just keep talking. Like, I'm just looking it up right now. Hold on a second.
So I'm looking at it, and it looks cool. I like the way it looks from the picture. I can't show it to everybody right now, but it looks really cool. I'm really looking forward to it.
They're looking to ship it possibly by mid-March. So we'll probably be mid-March, hopefully earlier, but mid-March.
I am not big on waiting, but I do appreciate the fact that they announced it and didn't keep it a secret up until like the day of, like you like to do, Tom. You know what I mean? All right, last but not least, brlcoffeeco.com. Please check out my good friend Neil's coffee company, coffee and trinkets and all kinds of cool stuff at brlcoffeeco.com. Be sure to use coupon code ROY at checkout for an additional savings on all products on the brlcoffeeco.com website. They have the greatest beans. They have the best coffee ever created in the history of anything ever created ever, with different levels of roast and caffeine content, which also doesn't give you the crackhead jitters, and that, my friends, is a selling point. Now, I'm really excited to talk about what we're going to talk about on episode number 153 of the PenBoyRoy Pentertainment Podcast. But before we get started, I got to give you guys a disclaimer. This podcast is not scripted and therefore will contain potty-mouth words, both from Tom and I, mostly from me. So be forewarned. You have been warned. Now, on to the podcast.
The PenBoyRoy Pentertainment Podcast. Stay savage.
I am so excited. So many things I'm so excited about, right? One of the biggest things that I'm excited about is kind of something that you didn't know I was going to talk about this, but I've been using this pen all week. I really love this pen.
Oh my goodness.
I love this pen so much. It's so much Abalone. I love the Abalone pens that Conklin makes. I love the Abalone pens that Monteverde makes. I know it's like, this is what it is for Monteverde and Conklin. This is what it is. It's like pen, Conklin, pen, Monteverde. The same makers. It's like, it's all the same people, just different names on it. So it's almost like they're interchangeable, but I still won't take a Conklin nib and put it on a Monteverde, and I won't put a Monteverde nib and put it on a Conklin.
Nope, can't do it. Nope.
Even though the Omniflex nibs are all interchangeable, because all it says is Omniflex. It's owned by Jaffa, which I love. I think Jaffa Brands needs to take all their nibs and put them in the garbage, and then just put Omniflex nibs on all of them, because they're so versatile. Yeah, they're so versatile. You want it to be broad, make it broad. You want to write fine, then write fine. It's awesome. And I love the Abalone.
I know you were showing off the Regatta Mother of Pearl.
The Regatta Mother of Pearl. I like that. I love it. I just want them to stop making pens in anything other than anything that's not Abalone. I want them to change their brand name from Jaffa Brands to Abalone Brands. Mm-hmm. Okay? That's how much I love the Abalone. I think it's really... I love it. What do you think of it,
It's
Tom?
very nice. I like it a lot. It's, Rodin is one of my favorite things on pens, and that's also made with Abalone. So,
we're talking a whole different level.
Yeah, but
of pen
I kind of feel that a whole pen with the Abalone is, for me at least, is too much. Like I like the little dusting of Abalone, or like the little meticulously laid out areas where you could just like a pattern or something, or stripes. But when it's the complete thing is done in Abalone, I'm just like, personally, my taste, not so much.
Okay, so then here's what you do. Buy a pen made of completely Abalone. And since you don't like it, just give it to me.
Okay. But I have no problems because I don't buy pens with Abalone on it. So
That's right.
Yeah.
I want to show you something else, too. So this is... I love the Conklin Endura Abalone. Love the Conklin Endura Abalone so much. Mm-hmm. Is this supposed to happen? So that's the end piece, right? Pay close attention. So for everybody who's listening and not watching, I'm grabbing the end cap, and
oh dear Lord, no!
And I just
no.
And I unscrewed the end cap and exposed the end of the converter.
So now you can refill it by unscrewing the blind cap off of there, just like a Leonardo or
right.
A few other brands that do that.
I'm not sure though if that's supposed to happen because I have my rose gold Abalone.
Right.
And I can't unscrew the end cap on this one. I'm not sure if it's supposed to happen. Let me ask you something.
What made you decide to just try that out? Just out of curiosity.
You know me, man. I see something and I try to unscrew it. Like, just give me anything that's not... I'll just try to unscrew it. I'll just
and
try
just
to take
knowing the amount of torque that you could apply to something, that just, let me just try unscrewing it. There's no... there's no glue made to man that's going to withstand that.
I remember I had a Mountains of the World some time ago, right? And this is back in the days when I would always overcap things too tight.
Yes.
And I unscrewed and detached the end piece, and then I pulled off the threads of the thread assembly because I was just twisting things too hard. That one was on me though. But let me ask you something. I'm holding up two Abalones. I know we talked about this before. We got one in rose gold and one in black trim, right. Lithium trim. Which one do you think looks better?
I think the rose gold.
You think so?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because I feel
decide.
that it stands out a little bit more.
I know it does. I can't decide which one I look better because without the black one, I'm like, yeah, the rose gold one looks definitely better. It stands out more. It's just a pretty pen. But then this one here, I bring this up, the black accent, it looks really cool. And then on top of that, it makes the whole pen look darker than it is, even though the Abalone sections are the same as the rose gold part, right? Isn't that crazy how...
I do have to say, maybe in the black one, the Abalone colors feel like they come out a little bit more.
You think so? What do you mean they come out?
I
a little
think
bit
so.
More?
They're more noticeable. Like they seem more intense because the black doesn't take away from it, whereas the rose gold is brighter, so it kind of competes with the colors of the Abalone in terms of the vibrancy.
It's funny because I think the exact opposite. I think on the black one, the Abalone looks more muted because of the black trim and looks darker. Whereas in the rose gold one, everything just seems brighter. You know? I mean, but that's just my personal opinion. And then, of course, we have this one here. This is the mother of pearl Abalone. Love this one. I'm waiting in the mail for a colored Abalone version with rose gold trim to come. Okay. I really love the Monteverde, this clicky, snappy, clacky sound when you
like the magnetic regatta cap.
Mm-hmm. And then, I like doing this when it's capped, like just bending the whole pen, so it makes that click.
That to me just looks like a disaster waiting to happen.
Why?
Like, because you're just gonna press it too hard, and then all of a sudden the whole entire grip section just goes bloop.
No, it's not gonna happen.
Cracks right off.
It makes me think of like a spine and a chiropractor, you know. When I
You going for an adjustment?
Yeah.
Break
Yeah,
your
I went
head
for
right in
one,
half.
a great chiropractor the other day. But anyway, really excited about the Conklin Endura Abalone. I just really like it. I mean, I really, really like it. And you know what I filled in this one? No, this is not the one. Today I used an ink that I really, really liked. And I actually, what pen was it? I put it in The Last of Us. Oh, that's right. I filled this one up today. I had, my Ryan Krusak.
The one with
Last
the
of
Ellie's
Us.
tattoo?
Yeah, love that pen. Love it so much. And I wanted to, obviously because of the Last of Us television show being on, I have The Last of Us pen, right? This is a one-of-a-kind. Nobody, if you're watching and you love The Last of Us, please salivate. Feel free to salivate over this pen. This is Ellie's tattoo. Now, if you only watch the show, you're not going to understand where this tattoo comes from.
Because this
happens
is in part 2?
This is in the game part 2, but Ellie's
Right.
tattoo from part 2. But here's the thing. The Ryan Krusak, when he made this for me, he made the Ellie's tattoo because that's the design that I wanted on the moose antler or fucking deer antler, whatever antler it was. Now, we were deliberating on what kind of a cap.
Okay.
He chose this wood. And the reason why is because he did research on the storyline of the game and understood that fungus was causing people to turn into buckshit crazy zombies, right?
Cordyceps.
So he chose this wood because the wood has this color because it got infected with fungus.
Ooh, that's cool.
So this whole pen tells a fantastic story of The Last of Us.
That is really cool. It looks like that because it was infected by fungus. That's
Right.
amazing.
Yeah.
Does it click? Is it a clicker? That would be fantastic.
Yeah. So I used a cartridge, but I filled the cartridge using the private reserve syringes and the
Right.
cartridges that come with it and stuff like that, because I just didn't feel like cleaning the section and dipping and filling. And secondly, it's easier to use a syringe and fill a cartridge with the ink journal little fucking crack vials, right?
Okay.
So what I filled this with was, I texted you the name of it. I can't remember
The
what it was.
Octopus Fluids Sepia Schwartz.
Yeah. What the fuck? What kind of ink brand name is Octopus Fluids?
It's like the best name ever.
It is, but like, can you imagine if you just replaced octopus with something else, like
Yeah,
you know,
anything. Yeah,
any other
inappropriate.
mammal, any other mammal, right?
Right.
Like man fluids, right? Like
fluids. No.
dog fluids, like monkey fluids. Would you like
Yep.
that? Would not
Fish
work as an
fluids,
ink
no.
brand. The only reason why it works as an
Bird
ink brand is
fluids,
because
no.
octopus have ink, right?
Yep.
But here's the thing, though, and I texted you this. What the fuck, man? You keep throwing in
Yeah, I
all
know,
these awesome
it's-
ink files, and then there's no accessibility to buying the ink.
You look, most of the time, whenever an ink is sourced from around the world, there's usually other retailers, especially in the United States, that will also be carrying this bottled of ink. But for some reason, Octopus Fluids is not as, let's say, available around the world, but particularly in the U.S. You know what? Though Diplomat does produce its bottles of ink from Octopus Fluids, I'm not sure if they use the same formulations of the colors, but they have the same bottle, and they say from Octopus Fluids. I'm not sure if they're the same color formulations or not than the ones that are directly from Octopus Fluids.
Well, that doesn't really help me now, does it?
Well, I mean, the thing is, like I was telling you before, I was like, I could get them, I get more of them, but I have to order a minimum, and am I going to order $150 worth of ink so that you could have an extra bottle of Sepia Schwartz?
Well, yeah. Oh, by the way, for if anybody who didn't catch that, heard that, that's the color that I used, and I really liked it. It's called Sepia Schwartz. So, Schwartz, obviously, everybody may or may not know. Schwartz means Schwarz. That means
Schwarz.
That means black in German.
Yes. So
But
sepia is brown.
So it's like a brown black. I really
Brown
like
black.
it. It's a nice color. If you work somewhere where you can only use black ink, you can get away with it. And look at it and know it's not true black, and you can feel like, haha, got one over, right?
Yeah, gotcha.
Yeah, it's like I'm a
But
rebel.
if there's enough interest, and some people from the Ink Flight come and ask me, or people from the podcast come and ask, and hey, I would like a bottle of whatever octopus fluids, and we get enough, I'll place an order for it. I just don't want to keep an excess amount of ink in that, and especially like we put this stuff in the home office, and there's already enough stuff that's there. I mean, we did get rid of the t-shirts, thank God, but there's still a lot of stuff that's there, and I don't want to like be accumulating more bottles of ink than we need. It's just
So you think that if you
mad.
made an order for a minimum order, and you bought, like, let's say 5 bottles of every color that they have, you think that it wouldn't sell fast enough to get it out of your house?
Yeah, because even like looking at, let's say the Robert Oster ink that we did last year, the Marathon Blue, that went in every single Ink Flight box. But then there was extra, so there was extra bottles, and for anybody that wanted them, but still have some from like last year. So I mean, thankfully they're not too big of a bottle. Like, you just put them in a Tupperware container and they're good to go. So I could have them around, but I don't generally don't carry extra inventory of the ink bottles from previous Ink Flights because of that reason, because it had gotten to the point before, years before, when I used to do that, being like, oh, let's have them available so that if people like the color, they could buy the bottle. But then that just quickly got out of hand after a few months of like,
Sure,
oh,
I could see
no,
you
no one bought it. So
Hey, honey, you and the kids are going to have to sleep on the roof again. There's no more room in the house because we have 20,000 bottles of ink. No, I get that. That makes sense. I totally can see that. But you're willing to get the ink for purchase if enough people are committed to it.
yeah, I'm trying to enable you and other people that might have missed out on those octopus fluids. And if we can get one together, we'll get one together. That's fine by me. I just don't want to be a situation where we're going to be gathering more and more ink. So
I like the word Penable, but that's like a different franchise. You know?
Oh, okay. Inkable, I guess.
I was
don't know.
thinking-
or Inkstigate. How about that? How about we Inkstigate?
I was
people?
thinking Inkfected.
Oh, get them Inkfected.
Right. Because like my thing was the fountain pen virus, but I stopped doing that because of the
Right.
COVID pandemic. But I think right now, I think it's not in poor taste anymore.
Well, we could do it in the relationship of like The Last of Us. So
Yeah,
it's
that's
like
true.
fungus instead of a virus.
The fountain pen infection.
And until
then-
but let's eat our hats right now, because who knows, man, like March is coming up and then all of a sudden fiction becomes real and cordyceps decides to like spread into a bagel factory, and then all of a sudden we're all infected with
I don't eat
fungus.
bagels, dude.
Well,
I don't eat carbs.
I mean,
so-
you're okay for now, but then once somebody who loves carbs comes and bites you,
tries to
that's it,
bite
man.
me.
Tries
you know what
to
happened
bite
to the
you.
last person? You want to have the last person that actually tried to bite me? You know what happened?
You got married to her, right?
No, but you know what happened to the last person that legitimately tried to bite me? I'll tell you what happened. They didn't bite me because I can run faster. But anyway, seriously, Inkfected. What do you think of that? I love it.
I like it.
I think it's so. Make
You're
a
just
sticker.
encourageable.
Get you Inkfected, right?
You know, it's incredible, all of the puns that we come up with.
Did you say Incredible?
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's been around. Though.
But that's another franchise. We can't do that.
Is Incredible another franchise? Who's that? Whose
Yes, it
franchise
is.
is that?
It's a True Fae thing. They do that.
Oh yeah, Incredible. Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
right. So yeah, but they do it. They do more. True Fae does more than just. Now let me just be clear. It's not, I don't. I love the word penabled. I just don't. I feel like I'm stealing it when I use it. That's why I don't want to use it. Not because I have anything
Well,
against.
I
love it.
don't think that this other franchise had invented it necessarily.
Who? Brian Goulet?
No, they didn't invent that, right?
Yeah, they did.
They did?
I think they did. It's always on the Goulet Nation on Facebook that I'm always on.
Okay.
I always see. Like I said, I hang. Are you on Goulet Nation?
I don't really go on Facebook that much, but I am part of that group, yes.
Such a good group. There's like 60,000 people. I've never seen a group that large that didn't talk shit to each other. It's awesome. Like, you go into like the Last of Us group, it's like 60,000 members, or any other group in the world where there's like 60,000 members, they're all fucking assholes, right? But Goulet Nation is not like that. You just got like, you got people who are like, hey, look at this new pen that I got. I really like it. And then, you know, I go into the comments thinking someone's going to be like, yeah, well, you have a fucking small dick. Go fuck yourself. But no, that's not the case. It's always like, oh, wow, where'd you get it? Oh, really? I like it. I love the colors. Beautiful pen. Congratulations. What are you going to ink it with? And it's like, I love this, right? You don't have a whole bunch of assholes just like, oh, you got that pen? You got to go kill yourself now. Fuck you. None of that shit, right? I love it. I love it. Goulet Nation. People got to check it out. That's where you can get, that's where you get penabled. But I don't want to use their word because it's their word. You know what I mean?
Got it. So.
But I like fountain pen virus because I was always like, I was thinking the zombie infections and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. I was thinking The Last of Us. Yeah. When The Last of Us, like, and Inkfected was something that I always wanted to drop. But the problem is, like, me, I'm such a simpleton when it comes to ink. Like, I'm never going to be like, hey, I got to get someone into ink. I'll get them into pens.
I'm already starting to think we need to do a sticker or something, Inkfected, right? So we need to do so. I was thinking of using the Inktopus, maybe asking Vanessa to get involved and like draw the Inktopus in like Last of Us kind of style, either as an Inkfected or I don't know. What do you think?
So I definitely wouldn't use mushrooms because that's really kind of stealing The Last of Us, you know. Or you could draw like the Inktopus, right? With like mushrooms growing out of its head, like in The Last of Us, and instead of him being like that cerulean blue, but he has just like blotches of ink all over him. Yes, you know,
or like where the mushrooms are growing out, it kind of looks like diseased.
It's like it's squirting ink, and it's like get Inkfected, right, or something like that. That would be cool. Hey, did you do in the ink journal boxes? Did you do the Private Reserve box yet, where it comes with a bunch of empty cartridges and a syringe?
Yes.
Oh, that would have been a great Inkfected box.
Yes, it would.
Because there's a syringe in it and shit.
Yeah, with the syringe and everything.
Yeah. Right? You know,
I did that recently too. I think that was late.
You know,
last
what'd been really
year.
funny is if in the box the syringe, it wouldn't be funny because I don't want someone really to go shoot up. But you include like the rubber strap.
Oh my god!
You know, the rubber strap that's tied around your arm.
That's a little too suggestive. I can't. Really, it's like, well, you put the ingredients in here for it. Jeez, man.
You know, that probably shouldn't do that. But I realized I was looking at the Private Reserve syringes, the blunt point syringes. They're like these thick syringes. Someone can really easily turn that into an actual syringe. All they have to do is just cut it at a slant, and now you have a full-blown syringe. It's going to suck on your vein. It's going to suck because it's going to be a thick. But don't do that, folks.
Yeah.
If you're listening to this, don't do that. Don't do that.
No, just keep them only strictly for fountain pen use.
Just
only.
Strictly for fountain pen use and inks, man. Right?
Yeah.
Like just be ink. That should be your new ink flight motto.
What is it?
We're gonna get you Inkfected.
We're gonna get you Inkfected.
Yeah, get Inkfected.
Get Inkfected.
If you're not gonna do it, I'm gonna use it for the Pentertainment Podcast. You know, infecting you with the fountain pen virus and Inkfections. Right? Are you writing that down?
Here. Yes,
I think we are.
Writing it
we
down
need to
right
work
now.
this out. We need to smooth this out, get it refined, right?
We need like a solid tagline. I'm talking like real good tagline.
We're gonna infect you. No, that sounds too.
That just sounds forceful,
right? Right? It doesn't get infected.
Let's let it simmer. Let's let it simmer for a little bit.
The infection is real.
The infection is real.
Infection is real, right?
Oh God, that's some of the stuff that we come up with, man. Love it.
I do. I just, you know what? I always love the fountain pen virus logo, like tagline. Mm-hmm. The fountain pen bug, the fountain pen virus. And I remember while I was making the LLC, I was gonna just call it Fountain Pen Virus Studios. But then the fucking pandemic happened and fucking ruined my plans. So now it's just Pentertainment Studios.
And it sounds like Fountain Pen Virus Studios sounds like you're up to more than just recording podcasts. It sounds like you're manufacturing, viruses or something like that.
I'm not the Umbrella Corporation. Shit.
Yeah.
That's a Resident Evil reference for anybody who doesn't know.
Mm-hmm. So what did you think of the most recent episode? Because we haven't talked about that. No, 3, right? Because we're on... No,
4.
It's 4. 4 is, 4. Yeah. Yeah, so let's get caught up, because we talked about it like a couple weeks ago, but we didn't talk about it.
I'll talk about episode number 4. It delved a lot into Ellie and Joel. Mm-hmm. Ellie and Joel's relationship, and I think this is I think out of all the episodes so far, this one is really important because it's the beginning of establishing Ellie and Joel's relationship. And it's starting to show how their characters and personalities merge, which is extremely relevant to why you get so connected with the story.
Right.
What I thought about episode 4 was, while yes, they're doing that, they're starting to integrate each other's personalities into a bond. And I don't know if they completely did it successfully with this episode, but I also don't know if this episode is the only episode where they're going to do it. I'm sure they're going to do it more because in the game, there's a very strong connection and bond made between Ellie and Joel throughout the 20 hours that you're playing the game, right? Mm-hmm. And a lot of it happens during the exploration portions of the game where you're playing as Joel and you're going through this shitty city that's been destroyed and all this stuff. And you're going through little cabinets and drawers, and you have to take time to search for stuff because in the game, it's a survival game. You have to craft stuff and make stuff, and you need supplies to do that. So you spend hours doing that. It doesn't sound fun the way I'm telling you about it, but what ends up happening is all that time while you're doing that, the two characters are constantly just bantering back and forth, getting to know each other, saying little things. Ellie's saying her cute little things, and Joel's reacting to them in a guarded way, where you can tell that he is so capable of caring and loving someone, but is trying not to because he's so afraid of the hurt and loss that he experienced with his daughter.
Well, he had an emotional distance to her at the start of the episode where he just referred to her as cargo. Right. And then towards the end, especially with her trying to break him down with the really funny dad jokes, which I really appreciated. I was cracking up. And then finally gets him with the diarrhea one, and he's just
I don't believe that one was in the game, the diarrhea one.
That one got me because that's the same thing that happens, and I related to it on a personal level because that would be the same thing that happens with me and my wife, especially when it was really late at night and the kids kept us up late, or one of them. So we would have sometimes these moments where it just catches us off guard. Somebody says something funny, and then we just both start cracking up because we're just deliriously tired, and it's just where we had a heck of a night. It was not easy. It was kind of rough, and then there's just that break of levity of just laughing at something because it was just stupid funny, and I just really connected with that, and I thought that was a good moment that they shared together that just just makes you feel like they're connecting on that level.
Mm-hmm. I hear you. I thought it was a decent episode. I don't think it was the greatest episode yet.
Now I'm guessing that at the end they end up finding the people that the other people with the female leader that they were looking for the entire time, that they found them.
Yes, that's Sam. Yeah. That's the little kid is Sam, and Henry is the older brother. Mm-hmm. They were both in the game.
Yeah. So then I guess we're gonna find out about them in next week's episode. So
yeah, that whole story arc is new to me too. Just so you know,
it just seems like everything, from what I understand, is everything is they're taking deep dives on all of the side, all of the ancillary characters that come into the game. They're all getting their own side story built out for them. That's what I kind of felt with
I don't know
too.
I don't know if that's true, because the character with the beard that was like kind of like the lieutenant for the late leader lady, whatever her name was, the leader. That character didn't exist in the game, and as a matter of fact, that guy is the actor who plays Tommy in the game.
That's what I heard in the after.
Yeah. And
the
I remember
feature
what was just really distracting was every time that guy spoke, I'm like, that's Tommy. Yeah. So like, and then you're going to episode number 3. Episode 3, you didn't play the game, so you won't know the difference. But episode 3 was a little jarring for me because what I felt like, what was good was I got backstory into Bill and Frank, right? Because in the video game, I just dropped something that sucks, worst day ever. What happens in the game is you run into Bill looking for supplies. I don't want to. Well, I think if anybody hasn't played the game yet, then shame on you. I'm going to spoil it. You're looking for a truck and a truck battery. You need a car, right? In the game, the reason why you need a car is because you have to try to get Ellie to the Fireflies, not because you're looking for Tommy. So that's the game. In the game, you go into Bill's town, right? Mm-hmm. I think the character of Bill in the game makes more sense than he did in the show, because in the game, he's like a weirdo who is like a recluse, doesn't trust anybody. He's really rough around the edges. He's not capable of being sweet to anybody or caring about anyone. And when he does care about someone, which was Frank in the game, and you never actually get to interact with Frank, the only reason you can see that he genuinely cared about Frank was because of the anger he displayed when he talked about Frank. Like, for example, in the game, Frank doesn't die of a disease. He got bit and then decided to hang himself. And Bill thought Frank just ran off with his stuff, then finds Frank later during that section of the game with hanging himself. And when he sees him, you can see in the game, you see that Bill is really affected by his lover hanging from the ceiling, hanging himself, right? Frank hung himself, and he's really upset about it. But instead of crying about it and saying, like, oh my God, I'm heartbroken or anything like that, his reaction is, you dumb idiot. He's masking his hurt and sadness with
like overt anger.
Right? Because it's easier to be angry than to be hurt, right? To be sad.
Right.
So that's the kind of character he is in the game. Mm-hmm. In the TV show, he's a very different character, right? So they hint to the fact that he's just this angry person that hates everybody, which is who Bill is in the game. Mm-hmm. But he's in the show, he's extremely sympathetic. He's very sympathetic, and he's not nearly as rough around the edges as he is in the game. He's more in the show. He's more refined, and he has more qualities that lend itself to exquisite stuff. Like in the game, he wasn't a chef. In the show, when he came out with the plates of food, it made me fucking hungry, right? I'm like, holy shit, everybody's dead.
Good.
Fungus is killing people. Zombies are eating people. Somehow he, made this town his and isolated zombies and crazy people from him. And he alone lived in that town, was cooking these like Michelin star gourmet dinners with like wine. And the reason why the show, that part didn't make sense to me is, why is it that he's capable of creating this fortress of a town, but the rest of the world isn't? Like, how is it that he manages to do this so, like, well? And he's just one guy, but everybody else isn't. Societies fall apart, but he's capable of doing it.
Well,
and then here's another thing.
That had something to do with, I think that could have been explained. I mean, you have to kind of take, it's fiction, so it's like you have to kind of take that little bit of leap, but I kind of got the impression that since he was of a survivalist mentality, and he was a legit survivalist who actually had a secret underground bunker that the Fedra couldn't find him until they cleared out of the town and everything. Then he comes out. That if he had that sort of foresight and that sort of planning and was able to execute that on his own, he was capable, at least in my judgment,
I was thinking about that.
like being able to go above and beyond.
Let's say Frank is capable of going that above and beyond. Have you ever met Bill? Rather,
right?
What did I say?
You said Frank.
Oh, Bill is that capable. And because he's so capable, he's able to pull it off for 16 years. Have you ever met a survivalist? Have you ever met one? Okay, let me tell you this. No. They have zero, like the ones I met, in that situation, and he was that capable of that in that capacity, never would have let Frank in. Never would have let Frank in. And
yeah, that's what kind of seemed a little, it seemed a little out of place, being that like he was, like you said, sympathetic. Like he seemed a little bit for the type of person that he was supposed to play, like a rugged, like a survivalist and everything, and had stayed by himself for such a long time that he would have been okay enough to like let him in. But also what I think I had more of an issue with that episode is that this series just started. There was 2 episodes under the belt. You just kind of got to know the 2 main characters of the story, one of which Tess had just died off the episode before. So taking like, usually you would see this with, I think, shows that got more developed with the storyline along the way,
right.
And then you would see an episode that's got a ton of backstory on characters that appear for just the 1 episode. So I kind of felt like it was a little too early for that to have like to break out into one of those stories, unless like what I'm kind of expecting for maybe the next episode with the pair that they just meet at the end of the episode, that they kind of do this often, where they end up building out some of these side character stories.
Well, it depends. So we have to see what happens with Sam and Henry.
Right.
I played the game. I know what's going to happen. So I'm getting a box of tissues ready right now.
Oh shit!
I wasn't ready. Sorry, I wasn't ready for the Frank and Bill.
That was really sad. That was sad.
Yeah, it was really sad. I don't know if it was necessary. Like, why does it have to be that much of a gut punch?
I feel like anytime, and I saw this also with, I've watched Old last week with it was M. Night Shyamalan movie.
Yeah.
So I watched that last week, and I find like and I've also seen Benjamin Button too. I'm a sucker for movies that like they advance the age of, that they go through time really quickly, and then you just end up seeing like the people really old and like kind of like in their golden whatever at the time when they just have to part and everything. I get really, it's very emotional.
Yeah, you know what the thing about the episode was, like, I don't know the purpose or the relevance of Bill and Frank's story. I'm not sure what it is. Like, I don't understand the relevance.
Well, I think
how it has something to do with Joel and Ellie.
I think it mirrors.
I think the relevant. No. I think the reason for it to exist is it's trying to explain to us that, like, the most dangerous thing and the thing that causes the most pain in this world isn't the danger, isn't the evil people, but the thing that creates the most pain is loving somebody. Joel loved his daughter so much, and he lost her, and that created a lot of pain. Like, he cared for Tess, she dies, and it created more pain for him, to the point where he apparently cared for Tess enough to go and take Ellie across country, even though he's highly against it, right? And then on top of that, you start episode 3, and you have Bill, who's afraid of all these dangers, and he's watching cameras, and he's like a weird doomsdayer, right? Then he meets Frank. They fall in love, and the moment you see that they've become domestic and united, something, you become uneasy, and you're like, shit, this is a good
this
thing.
ain't gonna end well.
This is not gonna end well. This is not, like, this will not do well in this world, right? The moment you see somebody care and love each other, you're like this. What you're preparing yourself, you're bracing yourself for tragedy, and that's exactly what happened, right? So I feel like the purpose of that love story between Bill and Frank. Hey, shut up! Oh, I gotta let him out. All right,
But I thought there was a door there. There's a little door.
Locked it. Go ahead, buddy. I love you. I didn't realize he was trapped inside.
It's like,
Did
hey,
you see
let
how
me
he's looking
out.
back at me?
I
love you, Oreo. So the whole purpose, I think, is just to. I think what they're trying to drill in really is like, if you love somebody, that love is the source of the most danger and pain in this world. You guys, I just let you out. You know what I mean?
Well, I think it was more or less. I kind of feel like, especially with them losing Tess in the episode before, and him, even though you kind of get the idea that he wasn't like super attached, like he was like, oh, she's just kind of like my partner, and they were romantically involved, but that it wasn't like deeply serious. Like he wasn't grieving per se, but he still was very he was very put off by it. But yet, I kind of feel that he's got such a wall built up because of losing his daughter right away from the start of the infection, that he's going to have a hard time trying to let anybody in. And looking at Bill's character, he was the ultimate he was the ultimate person to show you of like what it is to be like a survivalist that won't want to let anybody in, but he let Frank in. And I think it was like also in the note as well, where you kind of get the feeling like he appreciated and loved the fact that he actually got to spend the time that he did with Frank, for as fleeting as it could possibly be, but that it was well worth it, and even though like there was plenty of like danger and everything, that it still was like, it still gave his life meaning, to have that connection with somebody. And
I wonder
think
what Frank was dying of too.
I don't know, but they said something like, oh, even in when it wasn't the infection, like this would have been impossible to cure to begin with.
Yeah, I don't know what it was. Maybe it was cancer, because Bill did say to Frank, well, what if we find a doctor? He's like, listen, when the world wasn't gone to shit,
Right,
they couldn't fix this.
They couldn't do anything with this anyway.
Yeah. So I never think, I don't know. I can't judge the decision Frank made to off himself. And I don't know if...
You know what the kids are saying these days? They're saying
unalive.
Unaliving. You know that? You've heard that expression
I heard that before.
It's like he decided to unalive himself because
I
suspect
don't know.
it's because
I never
they want to get around the because especially TikTok and everything, they've got the very sensitive filters that then will get your content taken down if you say the word kill or die. So that's they use that to get around it.
I
The
really
more you know.
I really think, I don't know. Suicide is a very touchy subject for me in particular, because I know in my family there are several people who committed suicide, and then outside of that I know people that did commit suicide. When you're a young kid and you're 5 and you already know what suicide is, it's a problem. And it's always been something that I could never wrap my head around growing up. I'll tell you what, though. Being 5 years old, I remember being afraid of suicide, right? Yeah. Because when you know people in your family that did commit suicide, your question to yourself isn't, when you're a 5-year-old, isn't why did they do it? Your question to yourself is, when is it going to happen to me? Because you think it's the natural order of things. You don't understand that it's a choice. You think that eventually it's going to happen to you. So you grow up thinking that it's going to happen. You don't know when it's going to happen. You're afraid it's just going to drop on you like a piano, right?
Yeah.
And like there was a point in my life where I realized that that's never going to happen. I'm never going to do that. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And when you do get to that point, when I did at least, there was like a flood of appreciation for things, right? Like like I said before, and I meant it, I'm very happy with who I am right now. And I think that my 5-year-old self would be very impressed with the person that I am right now. Right? But it took me years and years, and almost as recently as 2017, I couldn't understand what causes people to take such a hard left turn to where they think nothing, where they have to make that ultimate decision. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it was even as recent as 2017 where I just decided you can't understand it. You just won't, because you are not thinking that way. There's never going to be a point where you will think that way. You know what I mean?
Right.
And I can never place my head into a situation where I would be like, yes, I will willingly do this. So when I watch that episode, I can't understand Bill's perspective. Mm-hmm. And I can't understand Frank's perspective. I can't. You know, I couldn't when I was a kid for the people that I knew. And I still can't as an adult for the people that I've known. And I can't now. Watching that show, that whole thing didn't make sense to me, and I kind of hope that Bill didn't commit suicide when Frank died. I kind of hope that they do run into, like, Joel and Ellie does run into Bill again, like they do in the game, because Ellie's interaction with Bill in the game was golden hilarious. It's just the perfect mixture of two characters that should never interact with each other, and they do. You know what I mean? And there's Joel in between, because he's friends with Bill on one hand, he's caretaking for Ellie on the other hand. They're both going at it, and he's stuck in the middle between a rock and a hard place. And that to me was a really hilarious thing. I kind of just hope that maybe Bill didn't die, and they need to go back to his town later, and then what unfolded in the game happens in the show, because it's just such.
Well, I think
good
it would then kind of be
story.
messed up that he wrote a note, for them and said, "Oh, don't go in the bedroom." And
that's true. That is true.
It kind of seemed like if he went through that trouble and then set everything up for them, gave them the key, wrote a note that if he was still alive, why bother going through that effort?
Yeah, and secondly, leaving the window open. I was watching that. I'm like, it won't work. Did you ever go into a house where there was a body in it and their windows were open? Oh, no. Well, let me tell you, it does. You could leave windows open. It doesn't work. Dead bodies smell like something you've never smelled before, and leaving a window open for 2 dead bodies in the hot summer, the whole house is gonna have that just smell and flavor in the air. It doesn't matter that you left it. I'm telling you right now, if I walk into a house and there's a dead body anywhere in that house, I'll know the moment I walk in. I'll be, yep, there's a body in here. 100%. 100%. Because opening a window won't help. There's that. And it also depends on how long they've been dead.
I think we're getting way too deep into this.
Deep into the weeds of it all. Yeah. It depends on how long they've been dead, because, and how hot it is. Ugh, it was just. Did you ever see a whale explode? I saw on YouTube the other day a whale explode on this guy. He was cutting open a whale. It's an old video, and the whale just explodes. And I was watching that, and I'm like, why would he do that? Why would he, throw darts at it or something, man? Don't stand in front of it.
When you see it on the beach like that, and it's all bloated, it's you gotta stand back, because that thing's gonna, it's not gonna be.
There was so much gas built up, so he was cutting it with this big sickle, and then the whale just he burst it. That's what they should call it, whale fluids. An ink brand called Whale Fluids, right?
No, it's not gonna work.
It's not gonna work. No, Octopus Fluids works. I think it works really well with your brand ink journal, because of the octopus and everything like that. But
or squid ink. Squid ink would also work well, because that makes sense. Yeah.
Is there anything out there called squid ink?
Well,
for fountain pens?
Well, there's Anderillium, which is a brand that uses kind of a squid as their logo and stuff, and they have a whole entire line of octopus related colors, which was also another ink flight that was done, I think, a month or two after. And we had to talk about the endless creator before we wrap things up.
Oh, we also have to pick a winner for that giveaway.
Oh,
that
that
we did
too.
About Bryce's beard. So, but really, we'll have to listen. We're going to talk about the endless creator next week because it's next week's sponsorship read also. So we'll talk about it then, because there, we'll see. I got to get my hands on one of them.
We won't know until March apparently.
Yeah.
So,
but my question about the creator is it being a super arrogant pen calling itself the creator? Or is it saying that it is a creator? Or is it saying that the bearer of the pen is a creator? I need clarification to these answers to these questions.
it seems like a rather bold claim to be like, I am the creator.
Right,
this
like
is the creator.
Like, because stuff has been created before its existence, so it can't claim to be the creator, right?
Also, I was comparing too, because you're
would-
saying it's the cheapest or least expensive retractable fountain pen, and I did find there are some, if you want to count this, the Mahjong A1s, the ones that are basically the Vanishing Point.
I don't count them
clones.
because those are blatant just copies of the Pilot Vanishing Point, right?
Well, I mean,
So-
in terms of whether or not it's going to be a pen that's going to provide the same value, I don't know. We'd have to compare both. of them,
We'd
but
have to see. We'd have to get our hands on a
Yeah.
Mahjong or Moon Man.
I think
or
we should
whatever
do a
it's called this week.
comparison: Platinum Curidas, this creator, and a Mahjong A1, and be like, this is the
And a Pilot Vanishing Point.
Well, I
You
mean,
gotta
but
throw
though,
them in.
like, I kind of want, like, where's the entry level retractable fountain pen? So, like, I kind of feel that the Vanishing Point is, and then Lamy Dialogue 3, they're a little too.
They're
far
too high
up.
priced to be.
So if we
entry.
let the Curidas, the A1, and the creator kind of duke it out for which one is going to be the better starter retractable steel nib fountain pen.
Yeah, let's do it. But who? Okay. Well, yeah, let's do it.
We'll see. We
That
have to
sounds fun.
we have to see when they come in. So we'll
Yeah.
see.
I like it. I totally like it.
But we gotta pick a winner.
Yes,
Gotta pick a
let's
winner.
pick a winner.
Who
So
are we
while
picking?
you're picking the winner,
Well, I'm picking the winner.
yeah.
Dang it! I don't want to pick.
Now I gotta go and look at them at all and stuff like that. You know what I mean? Come on.
Yeah, I have to pop on now. I have to go over here and like
Yeah.
look at
Now
what.
I gotta search. Hashtag Bryce. Right.
Bryce should grow a beard. Let's see. How many total entries did we get, by the way?
I don't know. There was some emails
There's a
too.
few. I brought up the email. We had Jacob had sent one in. I'm not using last names, but
No.
Jacob had drawn a nice little picture of Bryce with sunglasses on and a beard.
Mm-hmm.
And oh, look, who's wearing hashtag Fire Tom sunshade, which was left in Roy's car. That was a cute little reference. So
Yeah.
there's that.
Hold on a second. I'm looking at the Instagram ones. I don't know how you like filtered these out so well, but I suck at it. I hate all this stupid like emails where it's like, "Dear content creator, we saw your content. We love your content."
Yeah, I got one actually today that was like, hey, do you retail or you manufacture pens? And then I responded back. I was like, we retail pens. And then it was like, and then immediately, a second or two after, it was like these big blocks of copy pasted text. It was like, hi, I'm so and so from representing this business here, and we are the number 2 pen manufacturer in India, and we would like to sell. We could sell you pens and things like that. And I'm like, hold up, wait a second. That just seemed way too quick for you to be like,
Right.
it's not
Like
a
an
natural
instant-
response. I was like, I'm getting like solicited right now. So I was like,
100%,
look,
dude.
I'm not accepting solicitation, especially since your account is not even attached to the people that you say you're representing. And then it was like, oh, well, here's a link to my website. And then it was like, the website doesn't work. I'm just like, okay, okay, dude. That's the end of things.
Why did you even click, man?
Because I just wanted to see if it was gonna lead anywhere, but so I don't take it for granted. I want to give people the benefit of the doubt, but it's just I see a lot of these things, and it's just sometimes it's just not worth your time. So
yeah, no, I hear you. So I'm gonna say we're picking a winner.
Yes, we're picking a winner.
I really like this post by Professor Timothy, prof.timothy.may on Instagram.
Grow a beard for PenBoyRoy because he can't #FireTom.
And just look at that freaky drawing of like a head with like legs and pouring ink on his head, and
there's like a bottom fang and a top fang and like little stumpy legs.
Yeah,
looks like I'm trying to think of what it looks. It looks like some sort of like cartoon character. Like the
I don't
eyes
know.
are like going like bug-eyed and stuff like that.
It's like when we were in first grade. If you sold enough like chocolate bars or something like that, you'd get a furry
like
toy
those,
that. I think we called it a weeple. Do you remember what you guys called? Yeah, it was like paper feet and like a furry ball with eyes, right?
Yes, I just did like a quick Google search to look at it. Yeah, that does look familiar.
Is it come up as a weeple?
Yes, it does.
I remember I wanted a weeple so bad, but I could never sell enough chocolates and stuff like that. Yeah, I remember being a kid, because we had this box. It was called the world's best chocolate. Now,
yes,
in order to hold the box like a suitcase, you had to break the box in half. Do you remember that? Mm-hmm. Yeah, and then like the chocolates were $1. They've been $1 for 30 years.
They still are $1.
Yeah, it's crazy. But now they taste like shit. The last time I ate them, they taste like candles.
And they're also, instead of like being a proper bar, they're like the size of a finger.
Yeah, I know. But I remember people used to like those, and I remember, after school I would try to sell them after school, but my mother was like really strict. She's like, no, you don't do anything after school. You come straight home. So I remember the only way I would sell them is if after school, as I'm walking to the library or something like that, before my dad came to, like the 15 minutes it took for my dad to come pick us up or pick me up and my sister from school. Okay. If I could sell one or two there, then great. And then by the time I would get home, it's like I'd tell my mother, like I didn't have a chance to sell them all. So there were 36 bars. So my mother would just give me $36 for it. And then... Yeah, so I never got so I never got a weeple. But then, like, I remember, like, some kids, they would have their parents take a box, like 5 boxes to work, and then, all the colleagues would, like, just drop $1, buy a bar, eat a bar, you know what I mean? It was like, like that all. Even now, I go to work and I see these boxes with just sitting there with an envelope, and then people will take a chocolate, throw $1 in the envelope, and that's how they're selling all these bars and stuff like that. And I'm like, damn.
These things are supposed to be for the kids, but like the parents end up selling most of them. So.
Oh yeah, 100%. Listen, you don't want your 10-year-old selling shit on the street.
Door.
Yeah, that's craziness, stuff, man. Not today.
No.
Now it's just it's not the time and place for that. But yeah, I think prof.timothy.may. I think he's going to be the winner for the giveaway. So just reach out to us at pentertainmentpodcast@gmail.com so that we can hook you up with whatever it was that we were giving away. I can't remember what it was right now, but Tom will figure out the logistics on that.
Set of platinum preppies, the WAS, I think, the second edition WAS.
Yeah. So and he's a professor, so he's going to need pens, right? Let me look at his page. All right, so he's
good.
So he's all right. So he's got dogs, and looks like he has daughters,
cats,
and then he has cats,
and a distinguished teaching award.
Yeah, and he has dogs and cats. I like this guy. Right?
He's got also a fall 2018 Total Gangster Award. This certificate is awarded to Timothy May, Department of History. That seems pretty legit.
Yeah. I remember this. I looked up this book that he wrote or something, and it's on the Mongols, right? The history of the Mongols. Yes. So Googled it on, not Googled it. I looked up the book on fucking Amazon. It's like a $300 book. And it's like 6 gazillion pages. Right here, it's called The Mongol World. Edited by Timothy May and Michael Hope. So I looked it up on Amazon because I'm like, all right, that might be an interesting read. And that's where I discovered it was like $300 and like a gazillion pages.
Maybe we can ask Timothy. How about you sponsor a giveaway for that, that giant book?
No, dude. That's a lot. That's a lifetime's worth of work. If
Probably
somebody
costs
wants
like $300 to ship too, if it's that big of a book.
Yeah, man. Look at the size of that book. I've seen like what do you call it? Like those language dictionaries that have like 5 different languages with less pages than this thing here. Yeah,
but I'm sure it must be a very detailed account and history of. I think it's of Genghis Khan, right?
Yeah, of course. Imagine. Yeah, and I was interested in it because I'm playing Ghost of Tsushima, and Ghost of Tsushima, the enemy is the Mongols, and you're like the samurai. And I was like, wow, these Mongols wreaked fucking havoc. And dude, I'm thinking to myself, yeah, they're.
You did not want to be up against them.
Yeah.
No way.
But I'm looking at this shit, and I'm like, listen, man, the man put in a lot of work. Don't ask that shit for free. This is like years and years and years and years of research and nerding out in libraries and writing. And let's see what he's got there. I'm looking at, looks like he has a platinum century on his notes with notebooks and stuff.
I'm just imagining that book, significant portions of it either was drafted or written in fountain pen. So
probably, yeah. So I'm glad he won. Can you imagine, like, you get the book for $300, you open it up, and it's actually just like a pop-up book?
I probably would appreciate that, being like, oh, great, not a lot of text, not as much text as I thought it was going to be.
Yeah, but his cats and his dogs are cute. Listen, my cute little kitty cats are meowing at me. They're very needy. They want my attention. So we got to wrap this up. So everybody listening, thank you once again for joining us for episode number 153 of the PenBoyRoy Pentertainment Podcast. I love you guys. Be well, be safe.
Stay inky.